Welcome to the Daily Podcast. I am your guide to the audio world of photography, Taylor Jackson. Not to the entire photography world, just the things that I know about. Or I'll find guests that are a guide to their own specific genre of photography if I am not qualified to speak to it. Today, I'm actually going to be answering a question that does come up a lot. Justin Horn asked this so on Patreon, patreon.com/Taylor Jackson. If you go over there, there is a link to ask your questions. It's a Patreon link. It's open to anybody, so you don't have to be a member to actually submit your question. So if you want to submit your question, feel free to head over there. Do that, and I might get to it on the podcast. I'm going to get to as many as I possibly can. It's also helpful for me just to kind of see which topics come up more often, and I'm able to craft content more around things that'll help the most amount of people. So Justin asks that he runs Facebook ads. Occasionally, he gets a promising lead from a great sounding client. He replies in a way that he's definitely convinced that he's confident in. He has a background in marketing. His full-time job is marketing. He creates some anchoring, some urgency, call to actions, and then everybody ghosts, or not everybody, but a fair number of people ghost. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit today. So my Facebook ads strategy, I guess this is going to be kind of a two-part episode. So my Facebook ad strategy is, I would say, fairly simple, that a few times a year I'm running very specific targeted ads to the couples that I want to attract. And Justin, seems like you're having success with that already. So if you're not using Facebook ads, it is an incredibly powerful platform, one that I would 100% recommend you get familiar with, because right now it is, I would say, the easiest way and the least amount of money you can spend in marketing for the maximum amount of results. And the way that I find the most results from it is not from just like posting a link and getting people to click through to your website. The best way I find, which might even kind of relate to my answer in this question actually, is about creating video content to get people onto your website for, I guess, more qualified leads, because it's cheaper for somebody to watch a video for 10 seconds than it is for somebody to click through to my website. So for instance, just kind of a general number, I would say maybe it costs between 30 cents to like 65 cents to get somebody to click through to my website. But for a 10-second video view, it's usually in the ballpark of like maybe a penny, maybe 2 cents. And I know not everyone's going to be like fully consuming and fully engaged with the entire video for that penny, but that seems like a lot better of a cost for me as the person spending money. This will probably change. This will get more expensive because right now it is incredibly undervalued. So get on this now if you're at all curious about it, because you can target by like engaged couples or engaged specific people within your local area, within like 50 miles of where you live, as well as you can kind of run through some different, some other aspects of their life that they've shared on Facebook. So if they frequently travel, you can target through that, or to get like even more in depth, if you're a commercial photographer and you're really trying to like work with a specific brand, you can just target all of the employees of that organization so that everybody sees your work and they're more familiar with you. So there is like, it's an incredibly crazy powerful tool that's almost a little bit creepy, but it's designed basically on all the information that you put out there into Facebook. They use that and retarget you. And as business owners, we can spend money to utilize that. By creating video content, I think that it is 100% the best way to get a qualified lead to your website. So if they watch your video, hopefully they're engaging with you. What that video content is completely up to you though. I like to get people involved with the story as much as possible. I think that there is a lot of value in that. I also am really passionate about people either really connecting with me, either couples or commercial clients, really connecting with me and understanding exactly who I am and almost having no questions for the first meeting because they feel like they know me enough and that I've answered enough questions already to make them completely comfortable. Or the polar opposite, where somebody watches my video and they're like, wow, I hate that guy. I'm never going to his website ever in my life, and not booking him, which is also totally fine as well. Like I want it to be a little bit polarizing in that way. I don't want somebody to kind of hem and haw, because I feel like that's when, to get back to the question here, that's kind of when people ghost, that maybe they're not 100% connected with you, that you're not the specific photographer for them. So I would say maybe as far as like pre-qualifying goes, that if you can make a video that really gets people connected well with your story and shows you as an industry expert, as somebody that can create amazing work for them, somebody that's easygoing, easy to work with, doesn't require a lot of time, I guess, for like no 3-hour photo sessions. The more that you can kind of display what your ideal timeline is, what your ideal wedding looks like, and the more that somebody can come along and really just kind of place themselves into that timeline, I think that that is an incredibly powerful thing. And that is something that when they contact you on your booking form, that they're pretty much ready to book if you're available for their date. And I've noticed that simply by like all the video content that I put out there, that I'm constantly creating like travel content and content at weddings. I know a lot of my couples watch like my full day wedding videos, which is kind of funny because it's very much a thing for photographers, and it's just talking like technical and all kinds of different things. But a lot of my couples do watch that, and they understand that I know why I do things. And also the outlook, my biggest thing when it comes to actual wedding photography is the fact that I just want everything to be kind of like, one, as stress-free as possible. That is like my number one goal of the day. And two, I just want it like to kind of hang out with people that are similar to me, that I feel like if I'm just going to my friend's wedding every weekend, I can do an amazing job photographically. And then maybe even beyond that, I also want to make sure that they know that I very much do stay out of the way, and that I don't impact the experience of the wedding day. And a lot of my couples, I also know that they talk negatively about like that they've been to a wedding and there's like 55 people in the video team and they have like a jib on the dance floor and it's like a 30-foot crane and it's whipping around. My couples hate that. So I've kind of noticed that, and I very much am like, even if we are doing full video coverage, we are a team of 3 people. It's my dedicated cinematographer and myself and a second photographer, and that's it. So I'm very clear that we try to not impact the day as much as possible, and that we are just like, we could be guests. We're just guests with cameras. We'll fit in, we'll dress well. And we're not going to bring like rolly cases of stuff and set up 50 lights in your reception to like overpower everything that you've gone out of your way to create as an atmosphere. So I think just like being hyper clear on what you want to be shooting. I think that is the way that it's going to really kind of anchor couples to you specifically. And then going into that first meeting, there's going to be really no questions there. If they know your pricing and they know exactly what they're going to want to buy, I feel like that's pretty much a done deal. And they're either meeting with you in person or through phone calls just to, I don't know, verify that you are actually still a person, because it is a lot of money that they're probably spending on you. And it's also a bit weird to just kind of do that over the internet, I guess, as well. So the more points of contact you can put out there into the internet, into YouTube, into if you're on Instagram stories every day, I feel like that does a lot to kind of relax and give trust to the fact that you are in fact a real person with like real friends and you're known in the community. Also doing collaborations with different vendors as well, I think goes a long way. That if somebody's kind of hesitant, they're like, oh, like we inquired, but we're not really sure. And then they see your name like 15 more times over the next like 2 days of them browsing through different wedding blogs or on like a florist website. I think that those all kind of point back to you and do really good things to you. So I would say that it's probably not your actual written communication, but the more that you can do to create that content and to relax couples before they even really contact you and they just know that you're the photographer for them if you're available. I feel like that is the way you kind of overcome ghosting. Also, just kind of make sure that, I guess, I'm not sure of your pricing, but just kind of make sure you're on par with kind of like what else is going on in your city. I know it's like it's a cool thing to be like, oh yeah, I charge like I'm the most expensive photographer in town. But I think that's cool to other wedding photographers. I don't think couples really like that a whole lot. I'm sure some that they want to hire somebody expensive because they're the people that hired the expensive photographer, but I don't believe that the majority of people are really that way. And I also don't really like to run my business that way. So my advice would be make sure that like you're kind of in the ballpark with everyone else. And if that's good, your written communication is probably going to be way better than anyone else because you do come from a marketing background and you can write in that way that actually will get you a sale and get you, I don't know, like booked and get couples actually excited about it, and also with some urgency. So I think that you're on the right track, and I don't think the Facebook ads are necessarily the negative thing. I think it's just creating more video content, getting your personality and your outlook on the wedding day more out there into the world. All right. That is all for today. I'm Taylor Jackson. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, patreon.com/Taylor Jackson, and you can go to the link at the top there and plug in your question, and I will get to as many as I possibly can over the lifetime of this podcast. And it's fun, so I don't foresee it stopping anytime soon. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll see you then.